Hey everybody, Steven here, and today showcasing my personal settings for the MSI Optix AG321CQR monitor. So the first thing you want to do is go into the panel settings and then go to the eco mode, and you're going to want to turn that off. It's on by default and it's just saying, hey, this is going to increase the power consumption. Are you okay with that? Click that over to yes. Going back now to the settings here, we're going to go to the gaming tab at the top and look at this first. So I'll actually showcase what these look like in terms of the differences at the end of the video here, but if you go to game mode, I have this set to user. Again, I'll showcase what these look like at the end of the video here so you can actually look at those. Night vision, I have this off. It's just going to make this a little bit brighter. The response time, I either have it on normal or fast. If you increase it, going from normal to fast or fastest, it's actually going to make things a little bit more grainy. So keep that in mind. Fastest, you're actually going to have like a little bit of overshoot with this. So it just makes things a little bit more pixelated. I don't have the MPRT on with this. It'll show you right there that it disables certain things like FreeSync, for instance. I do have the zero latency on with this. I don't want any latency. I don't have the refresh rate displayed on this. You could if you want to. I don't need an alarm clock. I don't need game assist or screen assist. FreeSync is actually turned off by default. So you do want to actually enable that, because once you actually enable that, you can actually turn G-Sync compatibility on if you have an NVIDIA graphics card. After that, we're going to go to professional. I'll showcase these modes at the end as well. I have mine set to user. I don't have low blue light on. I don't have the high dynamic contrast ratio turned on. Again, I don't have the MPRT turned on. I don't have image enhancement. This is going to make things sharper. And if you increase this, it makes things more pixelated. So keep that in mind as well. After that, image for brightness, I have this set to 70%. I can go 70 to 80, 85 with this. I kind of switch back and forth. For contrast, I actually have that as the same. I have contrast at 70, but I can actually go up to about 85 with this, and it still looks pretty decent. It'll definitely be based off your personal preference, which this whole video is based off of my personal preference with this. Sharpness set to 0. This doesn't need any help with that. This monitor is pretty sharp out of the box. In terms of color temperature, I go to customization here. This has a little bit more red with it. So I turn red down to 45%, and to me it looks better with that. It just has a red hue with everything. So I do recommend going to customization and actually turning your reds down with this. It'll help with some of that if you are noticing that. After that, I don't actually have any changes to screen size with this. And then you're going to look at input source. I have DP cable with this. I don't need picture in picture, picture by picture. I don't need to change where the OSD is with this. Looking at settings, a couple of things. If you want to turn off the RGB lights or reset this, anything like that, you can do that there as well. So now that we've covered this, let's go ahead and click over now to my NVIDIA control panel settings. So once you're in the NVIDIA control panel settings, it's going to be different if you have an AMD CPU, but if you can find where you can adjust the coloring with this, what I personally recommend is, this is the control for all channels here. The brightness I have set to 60. The contrast I actually have set to 90, and the gamma I have set to 1.2. So with this, you can actually adjust this a little bit more if you want to. For instance, if you actually increase the gamma and the contrast, you can actually get the whites maybe a little bit wider, but you may actually get a lot of excess contrast with that, where everything actually starts to look a little bit pixelated with text. So there's definitely a fine balance when it comes to this, so keep that in mind as well. I like a monitor that is a little bit more vibrant, so I do have the digital vibrance turned up to 55%. Use your reference images there. You can see them down towards kind of the bottom right hand side. You have reference image 1, 2, and 3. I definitely check all of those just to make sure that I have my colors where I want them, and it's going to look different with this based off what you're actually viewing this on. Keep that in mind. So if you're viewing it on a monitor that has really good colors and it has really good nits and brightness with it, then this is going to look different. It may look way too oversaturated. So this is really specific to the MSI monitor. So you want to make sure that you're viewing this with this once you've actually made the settings inside of the NVIDIA control panel here. After that, we're going to go over to setup G-Sync. This is only available if you actually have FreeSync turned on. So clicking on the Setup G-Sync tab, you can enable G-Sync or G-Sync compatibility or compatible here. And with this isn't officially certified, but because it has FreeSync with it, this will actually pop up, like I said, if you have that enabled in the panel settings. And I notice a slight difference. It does seem like this runs just a little bit smoother. You have a little less ghosting, a little bit less in terms of the black smearing with this or the trailing if this is enabled. Now I'm running a 3070 with this particular rig, so it is a good GPU that may be GPU dependent, but it is something that I would recommend turning on, see how it looks. If it seems worse, definitely turn it off because you still have FreeSync enabled with this. So that's actually going to be it for my settings. Hopefully this helps you in terms of finding a starting point for making this look a little bit better, because just out of the box, it doesn't look great. But if you can nail down the colors with this, it definitely has good vibrancy with it. And I mentioned this in the review, I would actually say it is better than the Samsung G5 in that regard. So if this is something that you can nail down, it's going to be comparable in terms of the black smearing, the ghosting, the trailing, all that other stuff. But if you want a monitor that has a little bit better coloring with it, this is the one to go with over the G5. Now, as I mentioned, I'm actually going to showcase the gaming mode here and the pro mode in terms of what those settings actually do, so you can see what those look like. But again, I recommend just using the user setting with that. So that's going to be it for this video. What's going to roll out now is actually just a quick showcase of those. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all my content, hit the subscribe button for me. And if you have any questions on this, definitely let me know in the comment section if there's anything that I can clarify or anything like that in terms of my settings with this monitor to help you out. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.